George Cox of WestfordCAT. We are here to talk about the Slapshot Pub Pit Bull Rescue Benefit taking place on Saturday, May 31st. I have a studio full of guests, and we're going to talk a little bit about pit bull awareness. I'd like to introduce my very good friend. I've known her for 20 years, Dee Dee Goose Brazil. Say hello. And who's this with you?
This is Brutus. He's a red-nosed Mural pit bull. He's 2 years old, and he's a rescue.
He's just adorable. He's just like a love bug.
He's a wicked love bug. I like to call him Lover Boy.
And then we're here with Amy Egelin.
Yep.
And tell us what you do, Amy.
I manage the City of Fitchburg Animal Shelter, and we're full of these dogs.
Just strictly pit bulls?
No. A lot of other dogs other than pit bulls, but the majority of them are pit bulls.
Nice. Yeah. And then I'm also here with Jim Seltzer, and tell us what you do, Jim.
I'm the founder of the Full Bulls New England organization, and we're a bully breed advocate. We coordinate volunteer efforts with local city shelters and also advocate for families in need of assistance with the bully breeds.
Awesome. And then I'm here with Sean Stenton. Tell us what you do, Sean.
I am a trainer for Balance Your Bully Canine Training, and I work at the shelter training all the misfits that we have there.
And tell us who you have with us sleeping.
And this is Junior, my blue nose. He is almost 3, and he is a rescue as well.
Right, and it's very hot in the studio, so he's just kind of passed out. We're going to be passed out in a little while. So, Dee, tell us about what's going on at the Slap Shop for this benefit.
Well, I opened up a pub in Chelmsford, Mass, right off of Drum Hill, called Slapshot Pub. I've always been a huge advocate for pit bull rescue, and one of the things I wanted to do when I opened up the business is start an annual fundraiser for pit bull awareness and adoption.
Excellent. Now, what is the biggest, any one of you guys can answer this, by the way, what's the biggest misconception about pit bulls? We're going to watch a clip from Nancy Grace about an incident that happened a little while ago in a minute, but what is the biggest misconception, would you say, about pit bulls, that particular breed?
That they're vicious killers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying it.
Right, or I know that Nancy Grace had mentioned, that it's the devil dog breed, with the recent events that happened. I think it was in Arizona. Why don't we roll that clip? Why don't we take a look at that clip from Nancy Grace, and then we can all just comment on it.
Good gravy. They had to shoot the dog 12 times? Michelle Southern, Assistant News Director, Louisiana Radio Network. Michelle, I had no idea the dog was that wild. Was that out of his mind? What happened, Michelle?
Well, apparently the dog had just snapped for some reason. They have no idea why. Completely just started attacking the child, then attacked the mother when the mother fought the dog off the child. And, as you said, was so out of control even when police got there. They had to shoot it 12 times.
Oh, dear
before
Lord
the
in
threat
heaven.
was eliminated.
Joining me right now, 2 very special guests. Chief Todd M. Duplantis, the chief of the police department. Also with me, Grace Stafford, Dr. Grace Stafford, the director of conservation at the Wildlife World Zoo, author of Animal Trainer, joining me out of Phoenix. First of all, to you, Chief, I understand that the mommy was just cuddling with the little girl like I do every single night. The 3 of us get together, we watch Curious George or Wild Kratts, and then we go to bed. And that's what they were doing when out of nowhere, here comes this family pet. He's a beast. He's a devil dog.
All right, so we just saw the clip from Nancy Grace. I know she's getting so much heat calling this particular breed a devil dog. I mean, it's this type of stuff that happens in the media that gives this, pit bulls a bad name. Who would like to comment on, what you just saw?
No animal snaps out of the blue. Doesn't matter what the breed. Doesn't happen. Something happened beforehand.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason why that dog snapped. Mm-hmm. It's just not reported,
I think that Nancy putting family dog / killer into the same sentence. It's a little misguided. Again, just like the breed. like Amy and Sean just mentioned, that something is going. First of all, I feel really bad for that girl in the family.
Oh, absolutely.
Something is going on prior to this whole incident. Is the dog?
Is the dog in
we need
heat?
to find out. We need to find out what is
dog in
going on
heat?
and find out the story behind the story.
Is there a male dog in the house? How long did they have the dog in the house?
What's the
Obviously
structure?
there's a backstory that maybe we're just getting the sensational aspect of it, and it's just giving this particular breed a bad name. Is that why some of these shelters are just overflooding with pit bulls right now because of this type of thing? What would you like to say about this clip? And
I've adopted numerous pits and have never had a problem. A lot of the pit bulls I come across are family dogs in the beginning, and I don't think the families that adopted them really probably haven't educated themselves on any dog for that matter, not just pits. But I know from experience, and if you get a dog and you chain it up every day, all day for its whole life, it's going to be territorial, and you introduce it into a different environment, it's going to snap. As far as not being in its own environment, that's all that dog knows. I've seen golden retrievers, other breeds, chained most of its life, 2, 3, 4 years old, and people telling me that it's aggressive. Well, they're going to be aggressive because they've been chained their whole life. They weren't socialized. So that's any breed, not just pits.
And I'm almost thinking that you need permit to adopt a child. I mean, do people need certain permits to adopt animals? I mean, there are some people who shouldn't have animals.
Absolutely.
Correct.
You see these horror stories of this animal abuse. I mean, is there any kind of litany that people have to go through, or can anyone just go get a dog from one of these places? Is there anything they need to? Should there be a special license, or?
Well, you think there should be, but unfortunately, no.
Well, we do an adoption application where they have to be qualified to adopt, but you can get dogs free off newspaper ads, Craigslist.
Right, and you see a lot of these animals just being abandoned on the side of the road. I mean, people are just really cruel. I know you do obedience training. Or
we work with an organization like Sean Stanton. My organization will collaborate with other organizations, bully breed specific, that will help families, normally at no fee, to adjust certain. I'm not going to say defects, but some issues that they're having with their dog in order to keep the dog in the home. So instead of my dog will not let me clip his nails, we'll provide you with a professional bully breed specific groomer that will help you do that stuff. My dog pulls when he's on the leash when he's walking. We'll hook you up with a balance your bully canine training for the bully breed, show you some tips and tricks, and if you would like to continue with training, you can get together with Sean or one of our other professional bully breed trainers. We try to create the full bulls being the nucleus of breed-specific professionals that can help a lot of people prior to surrendering their dog, prior to putting the dog out on a chain, like Dee Dee said, or keeping them out of the house. A pet is not supposed to be, any pet, not just a pit bull, should not be on a chain in a yard 24/7. That's not a family pet. So we try to hook up our people who reach out to us with the professionals that can help them with their specific issues with their pets, and create a solution. We're all about solutions for this breed. With Amy and up at Fitchburg Animal Shelter and trainers like Sean Stanton, we get together and we put our heads together and figure out what the solution is to keep this animal in the house. Going back to the Nancy Grace clip, it's something obviously was wrong with that dog, and I would like to believe that if they contacted one of our organizations, that we could have helped them with that problem before something tragic like that happened.
Right.
But there's more to the story too that they're not
It's
talking about.
Exactly,
Yeah, it's
you don't
definitely
hear the whole
Right.
story.
It's definitely one-sided.
Yeah.
And if people out there do want to adopt a pet, and like say, I know some of these animals, like I used to have an American bulldog, and it came out of a puppy mill, had all kinds of problems, so we had to take it to obedience training. What is a good guideline for people? When they do, what's a good age? Should you start, as soon as you bring the pet home to obedience training? Is there a certain timeline that you suggest?
Absolutely. When you bring that dog home, myself, I feel that you should start to lay down that foundation for that dog with structured walks and just a structured atmosphere altogether. You just can't bring a dog in your house and let the dog go willy-nilly. You need to have order and structure in your home, just like you would your kids. You have to kind of lay down that foundation, and then you have dogs like this.
Right. And what's a good age, would you say, to start bringing your dog
I would
to
start.
training?
I would start at anywhere from 8 weeks to 12 weeks of age. Once you get that dog into your home, start then, and then continue with your training. But always be just have structure and always just be consistent with your dog.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Crow, and I'm a musician and a mother, and this is Buttercup. She's also a mother, but not by choice. She's a survivor of a puppy mill. Mother dogs like Buttercup suffer their entire lives in puppy mills, producing nearly 100% of the dogs sold in pet stores and on the internet. Buttercup's nightmare ended the day Animal Rescue Corps saved her life. But for the millions of dogs suffering in the estimated 15,000 puppy mills across the United States, this nightmare continues. Animal Rescue Corps and I ask you to visit your local shelter or rescue when choosing your next animal companion. You will not only be saving a life, you will be helping put an end to this cruel industry. Please go to animalrescuecorps.org to learn more about ending puppy mills. Buttercup and I thank you.
And do you find there's issues with a lot of these animals that they come from puppy mills? I know there was one up in Maine. I mean, they had probably like 25 dogs in a room smaller than this, and those dogs all had problems.
I would say it's possible to have a dog from one of those situations be a little more difficult than others because of the way it's been brought up. But if you give that dog structure, you're not going to have issues with that dog. It doesn't matter. You will have a well-behaved dog if you give that dog structure.
Excellent. And tell the people at home like where you work in case they need some more information or if there's a website.
I have my business is Balance Your Bully Canine Training, and my website is balanceyourbully.com. And I've got the website up, and I mean, this is basically what I deal with. I deal with all breeds of dogs, but I specialize in bullies.
Okay, now what are the bully breeds? What would you say? That I know Rottweiler, maybe?
Rottweilers,
Dobermans,
Shepherds.
Which I've had all those dogs. I've actually had all, and they were like the biggest love bugs in the world.
American Bulldogs, of course, Pit Bulls, Staffordshire Terriers, Bull Terriers. They're all from the bully breed.
Now, tell us, like, you're in Fitchburg at the shelter.
Yep.
How many animals, do people give up their dogs? They'll take a dog home, they'll give them up?
They do.
So tell us about the situation where you're working.
We have a capacity of about 34 in-house between two buildings. We take owner surrenders from the city of Fitchburg. We take animal control strays in from the city of Fitchburg, and when space is available, we're able to take in from other animal control officers in other towns so that the animals aren't euthanized, they're given a chance, and we can take owner surrenders from other towns when we have space available.
What kind of advice would you like to give people who actually go get a pet and then, a week later they return it? I mean, what would you like to say?
That's not enough time.
Right.
Well, an animal in a shelter is basically somebody in jail. And when you get released out of jail, you definitely need time to just unwind from being pent up in a small little confined area. It can take a shelter animal a month, 6 weeks, to totally decompress and be able to be open to its new surroundings and learn its new surroundings. Some of these animals don't know what a dishwasher is. They don't know what a flushing toilet is. They don't know what a sink is. They don't know what the smell of chicken is and cooking. So they need time and patience and structure.
Excellent. Now that brings us to this benefit that you're having at the Slap Shot. Tell us what people can expect when they go to this benefit, Dee. What are you trying to accomplish at this benefit?
I just want to.
What would you like people to know?
I'd like to educate the community about the bully breed, pit bulls mostly. I just think there's a lot of ignorance out there against pit bulls. I've come across it numerous times. I had a woman come up to me at a vet's office, and it was one of my fosters, and her name was Stella. She was very friendly. The woman came over, started patting her. She went down, she gave her a kiss, and they were just all over each other. And she asked me what breed she was. I told her it was a pit bull, and she stood up, said, "Get your dog away from me." And I said, "Oh." I said, "Okay." She goes, I don't like those dogs. I don't trust those dogs." I go, "Oh, were you attacked by one?" She's like, "No. Just from what I hear." So the media is a big accomplice with what's going on with society, with the pit bulls. I could go on all day about this and not even cover half the stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you think some animals are beyond damage, though, because of their backgrounds?
Yes.
They come from these puppy mills. Do you
Absolutely.
think that they're so far gone that, you know what, you're going to have to...
Yes.
Absolutely.
There's,
Yeah.
and,
And
genetic-
what are the
genetically.
factors that people need to look for, maybe? What would you look for? I know you've probably gone through the situation where you've tried to work with one of these dogs, and it was just beyond help. I mean, what are the type of signs, you know?
I had a dog last year that I removed from a home in Rhode Island, and this gentleman had the dog since a puppy, 6-8 weeks old, brought him into his home, but just because it was a pit bull, it was his first pit bull, he thought that, you know, the stereotype of a pit bull would mean, you know, burly dog, you know. But he didn't socialize the dog very well. He kept it in the crate all the time. He used to tease it and taunt it all the time. So when the dog became older, you know, a year old, a little older, now you're getting the dog's in adolescent now. So it's like a teenager. So now he's going to stand up for himself and say, hey, you know, I don't want anything to do with that. And the dog started retaliating and pinned this guy against his wall. And so they contacted me. I went down there, gave him a few lessons walking on leash, give him a couple of commands in the house, place commands and other commands that I gave him. But he wasn't consistent. So he attacked his mom and then he attacked his friend. But those two guys were the ones that were taunting him all his puppyhood and into his adult life. So he went and attacked them. But I took the dog, and I got that dog to be, this dog had huge resource guarding issues. If we dropped a piece of tissue on the floor, he was coming at you. And it wasn't nice. I eventually got him to be very social and very good with me, but that was it.
So the key factor, it almost seems like, you know, sometimes even with people, you know, the psychological damage done from when they were puppies, it sometimes can't be repaired.
Right, that's
and that's
true.
what people need to understand sometimes with some of these breeds that, you know, they were abused, you know, they were, this dog fighting, you know, that happens, you know, that we all read about in the news. Some of them are beyond repair, but I think for the most part, can they be with the right training?
Yes, absolutely.
They're proven, not to interrupt,
You're
sorry. Amy's proven it every day up at her shelter through the assessment, the rehabilitation, through training. We're cleaning up other people's messes.
Right.
And we're readopting these dogs out into good families. So the killer pit bulls, that the cliche out there, these dogs are coming into a shelter like Fitchburg, a no-kill shelter, that a stereotype as the crazed pit bull. Sean is assessing the situation, finding out what the triggers are, and most of zero euthanasia at the shelter. It's amazing. These dogs that are about to be killed, they're labeled death row dogs, are being rehabilitated and adopted into families and coming back to visit the shelter, not return the dogs, coming back to visit the shelter with their dogs.
And how rewarding is that, just to see a
amazing.
dog
It's
rehabilitated who just come out of these terrible situations and just see a dog that's rehabilitated.
But we're working one with Angelica.
The pit bulls, they're highly sensitive. They're a very sensitive dog, and they're highly intelligent. You really have to look at the environment the dog came from and not so much the dog.
Right.
What we do is we change their diet. We put them on a really good diet, and we give them a calm environment for them to heal for a week, and then we start working with them. But really, it just goes right back to the environment they're in. They're an extremely sensitive dog, and they can smell unbalanced people a mile away, and they'll react to that.
Is it true that, some of these breeds will smell your fear if you're afraid of them? They'll
Absolutely.
Know, they'll know.
Absolutely.
So what advice would you like to give people who are afraid of dogs? Because there are a lot of people who are afraid of dogs. Doesn't matter what type of breeds they are. I mean, when I had people come to my house in Maine, I had 6 dogs.
Right.
Some people were afraid to come to my house.
It's very hard to get somebody over that feeling of fear. I mean, you really have to, show them that dog is not going to kill you. That dog's not going to hurt you in any way. It's going to lick you to death. And, most of these dogs, that's what they do. They're not a vicious
Very human
killer.
connected.
They're very, very sensitive animals, especially the pit bull.
I know Brutus, when he sees somebody that's afraid of him, I don't think he's going after him because, they're afraid of me. I think I'm going to bite their face off. It's almost like he goes, no, I love you. I want to kiss you.
Yeah, right.
You're afraid of me, but I'm going to make you like me.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you love me.
And there's got to be that welcoming point with a person who does fear dogs, not just the breed, but fears dogs themselves, where either you're going to get over it or you're not. If you're afraid of swimming, if you're afraid of boats, it's a part of life. If you're going to wreak that fear, it's you either got to slowly overcome it or not.
Well, you have to kind of get into the dog mentality. There's a certain mentality about having a dog, and once you get your mindset in how a dog thinks and with proper obedience training, then you're not going to be afraid of them.
Right.
I've learned that myself because I used to be afraid of dogs and I lived with 6 of them. So
I would love to see somebody who has a fear of dogs overcome their fear with a pit bull, especially somebody like Brutus.
Right. And it doesn't help when you get Nancy Grace.
Exactly.
Which is a very unfortunate situation. I mean, we don't really know the whole backstory with that whole thing, but I mean, it just gives, when she's on, CNN calling these animals devil dog, it just gives them even more of a bad rap in the media, which is unfortunate. And that's why, you have so many.
Well, they should be required to give history, what happened before. Where did that dog come from?
Right.
What was going on before? How long did they have it? A lot of times you'll find, if you do the research, that the female was in heat, and then there's an intact male, and then there's children in the room, and that can cause a whole bad situation.
Right, and people
But they don't talk about it.
And people have to teach their children how to interact with their pets, too.
They do.
You can't just pull their tails, throw them up in the air. No, it doesn't work that way. Well, we're going to wrap up now. I just want to just go around and just reintroduce where you work again and give your information to the people at home in case, they do need some obedience training.
Well, my name is Sean Stanton. I'm the owner of Balance Your Bully Canine Training, and I'm out of Fitchburg, Massachusetts.
And give us your information again. We're going to put this up on the screen.
Okay, my name is Jim Salter. I'm with the Full Bulls organization, Full Bulls New England. You can see our website at fullbullsne.org or our Facebook page at facebook.com/fullbulls.
Okay, and Amy?
My name is Amy Edgeland, and I manage the City of Fitchburg Animal Shelter, and you can search all of our wonderful dogs on petfinder.com.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you have a TV show that's coming in and showcasing some of your animals? And doing like a pet adoption show, or maybe that's
think so.
something we can do.
You can do that,
Maybe I
yes.
can come in once a month and
Come do that.
That would be phenomenal.
I'm all about, I love animals. So, Indeed, tell us about the benefit coming up at the Slap Shot.
It's at Slapshot Pub in Chelmsford, Mass, right off of Drum Hill. It's on 5 Courthouse Lane, and we're doing a pit bull awareness fundraiser. We are trying to educate the community about the pit bull breed, and the proceeds will be going to Amy's shelter and to help find homes for these beautiful dogs and the other dogs. And it's not just to benefit pit bulls. She has other pets there as well, other breeds,
Right.
and it's to benefit them as well. It's just something I've always wanted to do. It's something near and dear to my heart, and it's going to be fun. It's family friendly. There'll be a lot of stuff there for kids to do, the family to do, and anybody who's interested in these dogs or has one, or even has a neighbor who has one, they're not too sure of it, or has children that have friends that have pit bulls but won't let them go over their house and play because they have a pit bull. This is just to really educate the community about the pit bull breed.
And we'll have everything pit bull there on our side. The training, the grooming, the vetting. The shelter's going to be there. Friends of Fitchburg is going to be there. We have 3 professional trainers with us that are going to be there doing dog demos. I want to note, and it's cool to do this. It's not. Please don't bring your dog.
Yes.
We're going to have our trainer dogs there doing demonstrations with the dogs on training, showing you some tips and tricks.
Yeah.
So bring your questions if you have some issues, but please keep your dogs at home for this one.
All right, and remember, if you want more information, just visit the slapshotpub.com, and it's on Saturday, May 31st from 1 to 6. And I'd like to thank everybody for being here and just talking about.
Thank you very much for
And
having
I
us.
appreciate everything that you do. Thank you for watching. This is George Cox for WestfordCAT. We'll see you again next time. Say hi to Brutus.